This is Craig and Lum, and you are listening to the Downfall Network.
Heathen is a fucking band that just transcends. When I think of Heathen, I'm a fucking pagan master god, and I just dance around the flames, chanting and just fucking going wild, sacrificing women, and just fucking going off the handle, and not even giving a shit, not even giving a single motion shit, as we fucking fire pit dance and mosh around the flames of eternity, just demolishing and just enchanting the flames with pure fucking heavenly solidity of power, metal, fire, truthfulness, non-fakery, non-plebbery, non-fucking bullshit. You know, death to the false ones. They deserve to be in the fire. Heathen was formed out of the bastions of the pits of hell. I mean, they literally just spawned onto this planet and just rocked the shit out of it, causing earthquakes, mayhem, you know, different forms of just fucking chaotic nature.
Basically, Lee, when he came over with his family from Russia in the 80s, he fell in love with the sort of Bay Area scene, the early Bay Area scene, and wanted to start playing guitar and formed his first group, which was Heathen. His influences are not all thrash, which is why the band has this sort of interesting, you know, melodic and harmonies and stuff like that in the music. I mean, that's what makes it unique. The harmonies from Thin Lizzy in particular were pretty influential to Lee.
Heathen was formed in 1984 by guitarist Lee Atlas and drummer Carl Seiko, formerly of Metal Church, which is pretty fucking awesome, because who wants to go to church on a fucking Sunday when you can listen to Metal Church? I mean, that's all the metal you need, that's all the gospel you need. Who later recruited lead vocalist Sam Kress and guitarist John Sanguinetti. Kress and Sanguinetti left the band and were replaced by vocalist David Godfrey and guitarist Doug Piercy. The band also recruited bassist Eric Wong around this time. Eric Wong left the band to join Piranha, which is also kind of reminiscent of Exodus, who also had a song called Piranha, and was replaced on bass by former Griffin guitarist Mike Yaz, Jastrzębski. Okay, so let's get into these three albums. These three fucking holy trinity of fucking albums. I mean, you got the Holy Ghost, the Holy Metal, and the Holy Shred. Breaking the silence, man. It breaks my fucking eardrums. I mean, I should say it breaks the silence. I mean, there is no silence when it comes to Heathen. Heathen, I mean, it's like it's a splitting ear crush. It almost breaks my eardrums. The solid riffs, the solos. I mean, it's ear piercing. It literally creates a soundscape. Goblin's Blade. I mean, that opening intro is fucking fantastic. Dun 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 dun. It fucking kicks ass, man. It is pure fucking heavy metal thrash. It's pure 80s. I mean, it's a wall of sound. I mean, I envision like 1,000 half stacks like peeking over a mountain and just echoing and reverberating through the peaks and valleys, just, you know, reaching out to all the plebs and exploding their fucking heads into oblivion. I mean, it's an anvil. I mean, it takes that kind of music to just crush somebody's head and just bash them over the face with a piece of steel or iron just to get the point across. Because that's what metal is about. And I would say Goblin's Blade whether or not most people think it's token-esque or not, I really think it is kind of power metal-ish. I know there's a little bit of a distinction in terms of, oh, well, we're not really power thrash. But in my mind, that song is power thrash. And I know they have their own stance, but I mean, it's maybe because of where they came from. I mean, you got bands like Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth, Slayer, you know, and they all have those riffs and whatnot, but they don't really capture the tonality or the diversity that Americans deserve. Save the skull. I mean, let's face it, man. Let's save the skull for this music, because my skull needs to have room for this album. Open the Grave, also great. Breaking the Silence. You know, when I listen to that song, dude, they are breaking the silence. They're breaking the silence of repressiveness. And it's breaking the silence in terms of, you know, my everyday life is mundane, and I need the silence to be broken, and I need it to be just, I need it to puncture my eardrums, so that way I can break the silence of all the and cancel out all the fucking bullshit noise, and just have it penetrate my ears like two big black cocks, just fucking just ramming it full and just cucking it to oblivion.
We're breaking the silence, so hear what I say. Just listen in silence, it's the only way.
Set Me Free by The Sweet, which was a 1970s band that produced songs such as Fox on the Run, The 16s, Hellraiser, all kinds, man. Ballroom Blitz, which has been on many compilation CDs for movies like Wayne's World, the new Batman movie with that stupid Harley Quinn bitch. And let me remind you guys, Sweet was kind of proto-metal. They might have been a little bit poppy, but I mean, they set a milestone for a lot of the bands in the glam scene of the 80s. However, certain thrash bands recognized some of the songs that they did that were legitimately thrash, and Set Me Free was one of them. And the video received rotation on MTV's Headbangers Ball, which is pretty epic. Demo version of Heathen song, also excellent. Can't go wrong with it. I want to order a cheese pizza, stuff my face, and just fucking go ham, hard as a motherfucker. You know, it does break the silence. It breaks the silence for me because it's something fresh. It's something that deserves to be listened to. I think breaking the silence is also very underrated. It needs more listens. And I think it's a pinnacle of metal achievement. Far better than Metal Church, far better than Killing Is My Business. Matter of fact, I mean, they're their own entity. Annihilator doesn't have shit on them. In 1988, Carl Sacco left due to musical differences. He was replaced by Durian Mintor. Mike Jensermensky left the band shortly after. In 1989, David Godfrey left the band due to personal and musical differences. For a few months, the late Exodus vocalist Paul fucking Bailoff became the band's vocalist, which is pretty excellent and expeditious. I mean, that is quite the fucking compliment. I mean, you got a dead dude, like, you know, posthumously, like, just fucking, like, rocking it out. He became the band's vocalist. They also briefly toured with the late Metal Church vocalist Dave Wayne. Rick Weaver was recruited from the Dispossessed. He left in 1989, citing creative differences. I mean, what kind of creative differences is there? I mean, you got one hand thrash and on one hand pussy. I mean, I'd rather stroke off to my right hand than to my left hand. I mean, really? You're gonna leave fucking Heathen? God, that's just heathenistic in its own right. In 1990, Godfrey, now going by David White, returned to Heathen.
There's always confusion because on the first record his name is David Godfrey, but it's the same guy.
David White did Justice. He did Justice and For All for the rest of the albums to come. Victims of Deception. I feel decepted into listening to it. I mean, the deception is very real. I mean, this shit is fucking off the charts. I mean, it's like fucking an EAGK fucking sleep paralysis chart, and I'm just like laying in bed, and I'm being decepted. It's like I had this fucking entity beside my face singing Heathen song, and I'm just like, over the mountain! You know, I'm just like, fuck. And then I have to like wake my state out of like this dream state. And it was just fucking amazing, man. The album was released in 1991 through Roadrunner Records, which is also shit. I hate Roadrunner Records because, let's face it, they just, you know, mix and master everything accordingly to whatever's like vanilla. But anyways, Victims of Deception was considerably more technical than Breaking the Silence, which is fucking fantastic. I mean, we're just talking sonically epic, though it was not quite as commercially successful as Breaking the Silence, which it should have been, because, I mean, let's face it, Breaking the Silence has nothing to break on fucking Victims of Deception. Victims of Deception would just break the shit out of fucking Breaking the Silence. Let's just put it that way. Prisoners of Fate, which is a fucking killer track. I remember listening to that song driving drunk after a divorce, listening to Prisoners of Fate in my truck, my Blazer, throwing out cans of fucking Four Loko, just in a daze. And I'm like, you know, roll the dice. We're all prisoners of fate, man. But here's the thing, you could change your fate, because it's all in a quantum state. It was a wake-up call, man. It was one of the few songs that actually carried me through my time in Orlando, and I really, really thank Prisoners of Fate, because I think we all are, and I think it's what we make of it. I think it's how we work with it, and I think it's how we better ourselves through it, even if the cards are dealt against us. So the Heathen song, and it was also off of Breaking the Silence, it was more of a demo song. It wasn't quite ready, but however, they fucking masterworked it. They forged it in fire, and it ended up becoming one of the best tracks off of Victims of Deception. Everything from the catchy riffs to the mid-tempo sections, the lyrical themes, it's transcendent, it's ambrosia. I mean, I would lay on a bed and have chicks like feed me grapes, and I'm just like sitting there all lackadaisical, nonchalantly, just fucking like eating the Heathen song off of Victims of Deception. I felt like a victim of deception while listening to this song. I was memorized. I was hypnotized. You know, the band did tour again in support of the album, notably touring with Sepultura, Sacred Reich. You know, that year Heathen found a permanent bassist, Randy Lear, until the ultimate death of Lear and his girlfriend in a car accident. See, there seems to be some sort of like, you know, hex upon car accidents and band members or plane crashes. The band replaced him with Jason Veerbrooks, Doug Piercy departed from the band in 1992 and was replaced by Ira Black. The band planned to record covers EPs dedicated to Lair and his girlfriend, but the band went on hiatus in 1993.
Between Breaking the Silence and Victims, there was a 4-year gap, I think. And that was changing record labels, trying different things creatively. I think that was not planned. After Victims, that came out, and then grunge was huge, and metal sort of was unpopular, at least with labels and, you know, the music business. At that point, Lee got an offer to go play guitar for a German electronic band called Die Krupps, and he actually used to. I think he played with them for a few years. He played on a couple of their records, and that's, you know, that's one of the reasons why Heathen didn't do anything for a few years. And then when the band got back together and did the Thrash of the Titans benefit, which was the benefit for Chuck Billy when he had cancer, and that reinvigorated them a little bit. They recorded the 2005 demo, and it just took a long time between the demo and getting a record deal, and then finishing writing and making the record. Lee likes to describe it as Heathen makes fine wine, not cheap beer.
Doug Piercy belongs in the band Rat. He's not deserving of the Heathen annals. I think Kragen, which has a Viking name to it. I mean, anybody with a Viking name like Kragen, he's like defending the White Wall against the White Walkers with his sheer sound. I mean, he just like propels them away. I mean, it's just like, be God with you, you bastard children. He was approached by Heathen, and the guy does masterwork jobs, man. He does schizophrenic riffage. This guy is off the charts. I mean, if it was a fucking earthquake, it would be like a fucking Richter 9 of just jamming, of just fucking solo lead work. I mean, this guy wakes me up in my bed, and I just want to sit up and listen. I don't even give a shit about the walls caving down on my face, my forehead. I'm just all about listening to the heroicness, the heroic dose, the angelic fucking riffage, the soloage. It's totally profound, beyond profound. It is a league of its own, and I am very proud that these guys managed to score Kragen. Let's face it, Heathen has had the longest hiatus. I mean, it's like Chinese democracy. I mean, it lasted longer than fucking Guns N' Poses. The hiatus took so fucking long that the audience died of old age. But I'm Stuart Hoovington fucking Esquire, and I fucking just, you know, I just put myself in a fucking trance state, a hypnagogic state. It took forever. I mean, I was almost caught in stone. You know what that's like? Having your body just like slowly just turn to stone. I'd rather look at Medusa's pussy than, like, you know, look at her face, because at least, you know, I know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and then it would just like crush to death. And you know, eventually Heathen would break its way through the sound of silence. And you know what? They persevered, and they fucking delivered like Domino's pizza, only in metal. And it wasn't some $5 fucking cheesy pizza either. It was like fucking all the fillings. It was stuffed crust. It was just fucking just there on point. I mean, it even had fucking like garlic sauce. I mean, this shit, it was weight, man. I was like a stoner, like waiting for my pizza. And, you know, once I got that pizza, dude, I fucking just consumed it. Heathen has recorded the Evolution of Chaos in 2008. They actually had a demo version back in 2005 or 6, and some of the tracks that were on that album, or that EP if you will, were Arrows of Agony and a couple others. Heathen had recorded the Evolution of Chaos in 2008 and was originally scheduled for release on July 20th, 2009, but was pushed back, which is completely understandable, because as a band like Heathen, you need all the room you could get to make something that's a masterwork of metal. You need to forge this shit in fire. You cannot have any bits, you can't have any chinks, you cannot have any split ends. You gotta fucking put this shit in the fire and fucking just hammer it well. And hammer it well, they did. I would say Cragen's songwriting, his solos in particular, are on par to every other album. It's seamless. You cannot tell the difference between the first album to the third album. I mean, it's all seamless. He just fucking creates a gravitational collapse, zero gravity, 0 point energy. This guy just fucking shreds. He shreds everything. He shreds lettuce. He shreds fucking like lettuce. And let's not let us forget that this guy is just, you know, fucking just phenomenal. He's a masterwork. He's so metal. He just puts a fucking anvil and smashes it over my face as I'm laying in bed. Even with a pillow over my face, I could just feel the weight and the heaviness. No Stone Unturned, which is probably one of the most Orion-esque songs I've ever heard. Once you get midway through, you're instantly reminded of Cliff Burton. You have that bass, you have that guitar harmony. I mean, it is absolutely fucking classic. And then it gets back into the thrash. It's just perfect. A Hero's Welcome, also a great song. Apparently they don't play it live that much, for whatever reason. Blood Cult, excellent. Solos, flawless victory. I mean, it fucking made me had a fucking... If I had every fatality from Mortal Kombat, like, just decimate my body, I would listen to that song over and over again. Silent Nothingness, also excellent. I mean, it's just pure on thrash, no bullshit, balls to the wall. You know, you're in the middle of your room, you're laying down, it's just silent, there is nothingness. But at the same time, there is something there. And what's there is Heathen.
Do you guys have anything planned for the future?
Yeah, we, God, a few years ago at this point, we signed a deal with Nuclear Blast for the next album. I already have 6 songs demoed, and I have another 3 or 4 that I still have to demo. We have, while we're kind of waiting to record, I've been sort of just working on other projects for the band, new web store, new merchandise. There's a demo compilation that I put together, which has all of the official Heathen demos. They're all mastered for the first time, and at least right now, it's just a digital collection. It's basically like you buy it's called Pray for Death, the complete demo collection. If you buy one of these shirts with the artwork, which is this one, then you you get the demo collection for free. It's a free download. It's the demo, the first demo, the demo with Paul Bailoff, the Victims demo, and the 2005 demo. So it's all of the official demos. So at some point, maybe we'll put it on CD or even vinyl, which would be cool. I'm going to look into that after the first of the year. But just sort of starting to try and build up the fan base a little bit again, get back in touch with them, offer some cool stuff. And then in the meantime, demoing new music. I would just say, you know, check out the band on Facebook, please. It's the best way for us to sort of keep in touch with fans, anybody that's interested in the music. We have a new web store. It's shop.heathenthrash.com. Hopefully we can find a break in the Exodus schedule where Lee and I aren't so busy, so we can get back to working on the record. As soon as I have 10 songs, I mean, that's going to be enough for a Heathen record. More like Victims of Deception style or Evolution style songs, but shorter like they were on Breaking the Silence. That's at least my sort of vision for it.
Heathen is very special to me because not only is it because of their punchy riffs, their solos, their lyrical themes, but the realness that they bring to the scene. I remember going through a divorce, and I'd be winding down these roads, and I'd be drinking a Four Loko, not giving a fuck, driving as fast as I could. I just didn't give a shit at the time, man, because I realized there and then we're all prisoners of fate, and it's up to us to change that fate. And it's a very sad circumstance, and I'm very proud that Heathen actually wrote that song, because it means so much more than a lot of the bullshit that exists out there, where it's just menial and it's just narcissistic. There's no philosophy behind it. It's just, it's void, it's vapid. And I do appreciate Heathen. They essentially saved my life. And I know that sounds cheesy, and I know that sounds like bullshit, but they meant something to me, and they still do. And for that, Heathen, I salute you. You guys are fucking metal gods.
When I do a lot of I pirate music. Well, I pirate music. I pirate, or listen on Pirate Bay and whatnot.
In the arms of the angel,
You don't know where I'm going with that one. I'm just gonna shut the fuck up.
Subscribe to the Downfall Network.